the line are lost and find. Ended the game in overtime, drawing of a new design, drilling now on earth the mind, looking to the outward, speaking mind about words absurd, blurred to the curb, walking along the verb.
Hey everybody, what is happening? Ish back with some more Madden 17 Ultimate Team content, and today we're going to go back into the Ravens nickel 335 wide. It's in a lot of books. I'm going to run it out of that. We're going to get into my man blitzing coverage scheme, how I run this. It's something that's really nice to mix in. It has some complexities to it though, that you have to kind of be aware of what your opponent's doing when you're making your adjustments in this. But I'll at least show you what I do, and it's not something I would sit in the entire time. This is what you want to mix in with the other 335 wide concepts. You see out here. So what the play is going to be is a cover one contain, and I'll show you some different things with this. Okay, today I'm not going to do any gameplay with it. The last two gameplay videos that I posted, you saw me running this. I showed you it. So this is just going to break down because this one, I like to say, this is a little bit more complex as you dive into getting the blitz to work. So you kind of have to really get this down, and it's easier in practice mode. So what you're looking at here, the base play. The standard thing that people have been doing, you know, in Madden, so the basic thing that you would see is just hitting RB, bringing up your outside linebackers and just putting them in a flat or a purple, depending on the zone, or, you know, the down and distance, or you know, out of the bats, you know, shade down, shade up, change them to cloud flats. Cloud flats is probably your best bet stock. Now this is just the base. This isn't what I was going to show in it. But if you have a good feel for it, this is what you would be running. You're only rushing 3 people in something like this, though. You're not going to get a lot of pressure, and there are some of those out and up routes, the chair type routes that'll beat you deep. But it's good to mix in because some people just really struggle against it. So if you just want to hop on this guy and kind of, you know, sit around out here, you know, so be it, you can do that. But for me, I wanted to bring pressure in this scheme. So in order to do that, you know, you're going to have to change a couple things up with it, obviously. The same concept that we did before. Normally, what I would, you know, I'm going to shift the defensive line to the left, and I'm going to crash them out. Normally we have them sitting in the middle, leave them alone. Sometimes you can do it right, but for this one, just depending on what I want to do. If I want to do the down to a 3-man blitz, I can go left. Otherwise, the stock play will also work. So it just depends on how you want to run the blitz. But I'm always crashing out though the thing with the defensive line. Either way, you know, hitting the L bumper, slant outside, they want to call it this year, whatever. But we're blitzing the nickel corner like we've done time and time again, doing that. Well, he's going to be manned up though with the number 2 receiver, always the number 2 receiver, because what we do in this now, in this defense, I base align, I do not man align, and because of that, it's always going to be consistent with where your guys line up and who they match up against. So because when I'm coming out on defense, I can't go out and look at play art and see, oh, well, I blitzed the nickel, who's he on? I need to know without having to look at play art who I have to cover with this right outside linebacker. And to get to him, I hit the R bumper twice, bring up X, and then I'm going to go up and Y. Now, again, the guy you're blitzing, the nickel corner, is always going to be responsible for the second receiver from left to right, down, up. So if there was just Fitzgerald and then a tight end, and then the running back on the right or left, the tight end on the left would be the number 2. If they're in a bunch, it's going to be the second receiver, left to right, down, up. So I'll always know my assignment there. Your middle linebacker is always going to be number 3. So if the tight end was on the other side, the middle linebacker would be up on the tight end. And if he's on the right side here and no tight end, you know, see the third option now in this formation is the running back. So middle linebacker gets 3, and you'll see the safety out there is going to have 4, the tight end. Then on the other side there you have your corner, obviously. The guy out here is what you can. I'll use him a lot of times also in doing this. So the basic blitz now, this is the basic blitz without doing any further adjustments, is basically just coming out and doing that. You know, you're gonna, you know, and then practice mode, this setup, some of these setups don't work great in practice mode, but once you get out, you've seen the gameplay of them working and whatnot. But a lot of times, like I say, I've already messed this up a few times, so we'll see what this one does on this one. So we go out, he's able to pick him up on this. But like I say, I have to set this one up fully for the blitz though. So what we look at here in this one, so base the line, spread your defensive line out, blitz your nickel right there, and then I'm going to put the right outside linebacker on his man, whoever he was guarding against. And that's all I got to do. Sometimes I'll come down to the line. Now, again, that's just the basic one. I like to do more than that in a sense, so I would at the least want to take either the left end there, which I use him a lot. We use him in the other formations. Put him in a zone, whatever one you want, or what we'll do, or take the outside guy there. Like I say, in this mode, it doesn't always come in because of the practice mode. It's a little weird with it, but let's see right here. Yeah, he gets caught up a little bit. But again, we have gameplay showing that stuff. It's just what it is in practice mode. But I want to show the deeper version though of this though. Also come across here, and I think this one does work in practice mode doing it this way. Now if I want to go for having a 3-man blitz in this and make it stronger, this is when I want to shift the guys to the left. I think it's more effective. So we'll base the line, shift the defensive line to the left, we'll crash them up, and then I'll put my blitz on. And now you'll get used to this real fast once you get the hot stuff down. Now what I'm doing here is I'll take the left defensive end and I put him in a bluff blitz. Right there, bluff blitz, and then I take the right side, which is gonna be your left outside linebacker, and I'll put him in whatever zone I want, and you can get the 3-man out of that. So typically I'll run that, then if I get up in here close to the line, doing that. So and I believe that one they tend to come in a little bit more with this setup in practice mode. You don't necessarily have to do that in the game that way. But I like the better option of going left anyway with it. Base the line, shift defensive line left, crash him out, and then like I say, I want to blitz out that corner, and I put him on it, and there we go. When you get used to doing it, you can flip these guys around really fast. But at first, it's going to be a bit, so you want to learn it in steps. Basically. Just start with the early versions of it, go to the basic blitz, and then start getting more to the advanced blitz, like a 3-man sort of blitz, where I've got 3 people going and he still comes around the edge. Like I say, it's a little bit cleaner even and I'm blocking here. Now, they're going to be able to slide protect to pick this up, so keep that in mind. That's why it's kind of nice to do it at the 3-man, because you have coverage. Otherwise, if it doesn't come in, if they block that, you will have the extra zones, and then you get to watch on the right too, and you've got man coverage behind it. So we take that again, we base the line, shift the defensive line left, crash them out, we're blitzing out here, we're setting the line up, and then like that. So at the end of that, so your defensive end on the right, blitz, right side, and then the end who's going to be your outside linebacker out there, hard flat, purple, whatever. So you've got to have yourself, and that's why in mine, what I was saying is I have like a rack bow, and I've been running, and you're going to run him here in this position just for my 3-5, sub him in. That way you've got an actual linebacker who's fading back, who's going to play good zone. Otherwise, like Ed Too Tall Jones plays good, but I don't think his catching isn't great. If you have him, he'll still kind of work. It's a good guy just to clog. You just want to clog that middle up when they're trying to run crossing routes, so it'll free you up. Okay, so there's a big issue with this also that you have to be careful about though. The thing with this defense is if you want to run this blitz, because you're normally over here and making the adjustments, if they motion, and this is very important to learn this, because you can get beat really bad if they do this to you, and if you set your play up and then they motion over, your responsibility changes, and you'll watch the routes will shift over and leave people uncovered at times. So let's see if it does it in this one. So now it would be the running back in this play. So this one wouldn't be too bad, but the running back who was covered is now uncovered. You see how they shift? So it's something that you have to know, because now it's your responsibility, your guy though, and it's always the same rule. You're still taking the right outside linebacker and finding the number 2, because now from left to right the number 2 guy is RB. So if you're watching him, you just have to know that if you're setting the defense and somebody motions over across the field, you know that you've got to switch your linebacker, because otherwise someone's going to be running free. Now obviously for this scheme you want a right outside linebacker who's got speed also to do this. I've got Zach Brown out there. You can get by with a lot of things. If the guy's running 3-4 receiver sets, sometimes, depending on what he's trying to get out there and streak your guy out on it, he catches what you're doing, then you may want to get out of it. But again, this is not a defense I set in all the time. I want to mix this in with my cover 3s, cover 2s. You don't want them to be able to, because if you give someone enough time and you run this no matter what, they'll start figuring out the route concepts that beat it. And then, it becomes easier and easier for them. So you always want to just hit it, and move on. Hit it, move on at the right time, But like I said, you can get the pressure out of it. Use the first one, even though again it doesn't really work in practice mode, but let's go back to the basics of it. Base the line, let's shift the defensive line left again this time. Do it every time here and kick them out. Again, we're just blitzing off the left, and then you want to man up who he's on. That's just the basic one. If you're new to this, that's what I would do first. Typically I want to come down right over here in the actual game, and that will come in right there. And then you're gonna have coverage out on it. Once you get comfortable doing that, start thinking about either sending one of these 2 guys into a zone, because you're gonna want that backup coverage. If you're just starting off on it, go ahead, put Doomerville out there, put him in a flat, put him in wherever, shade down, shade up, get him in a cloud flat. So off the bat, I would just start off, maybe you're trying to run that, don't get too crazy with it, but okay, so in practice mode, so I would just stick with it. I know the other way without shifting them left works, but shifting left in practice mode works better also. It still doesn't come in perfectly clean in here, but if you're just practicing it, do shift your defensive line left, I guess, every time. So again, go out there, shift them left, spread out, blitz him, and then man him up. Now, what you can also do to try to avoid here some of this, since it's your defensive line, or it's your linebacker doing this, we can see if this works. I haven't tried this one yet, and that might get you out of it. Let's see if he motions over real quick. I want to test that out and see if it matters your position or not. Okay, so see, yeah, it's chasing again, so it's just something that's going to happen no matter what once you manually put somebody in. So it doesn't matter if you do it on linebacker versus him. So that's just so you know that. So that's just something you have to be aware of, is the motion again. That's a big thing. I think it's easier just leaving the same setup and not getting too crazy with who you're going to end up moving with. But again, here we got that the blitz should work for the most part, unless they slide to protect it. If they start doing that, just start hitting other blitzes in a game. They're going to have other options out there for it. So again, for the bigger setup though, we want to base the line, shift your defensive line to the left, crash him up. We're going to blitz that slot. We're going to man him up. And then real quick, I get on A, and it's both sides. It's A, so the right side and the left side. So if you're hitting the LB, A, and then RB, A just to get to the guy. So it's the same one for that side at least. So you get used to it. Once it becomes muscle memory, you'll be able to do those faster than you'll be able to even say it, for sure. That's for me. But like I said, that'll end up working out. And then you are kind of responsible for the left side. If they start running these deeper outs or any of those sort of routes on that side, that's really where you should be using out there. But at the same time, I also like to keep an eye over anything deep if I can, anything crossing over in this area also. So I'm kind of playing down through this zone about it. And to get maximum results, I should also say, if you can get your guy down here, if you can get it set up, which means you got to be quick. Now, if somebody's quick hiking you guys and they're coming out and they're not making adjustments, you're not going to get this setup off. So again, you have to pick and choose when you're going to run this play, obviously. Okay, so if you're in somebody who makes at least one hot read or whatever, I can get this play done. I can get this done against the computer. I can get this whole thing set up. The only difference is sometimes I can get in place, sometimes I don't, as far as this goes. But the blitz comes in normally either way. It's just that if I can get down here, I notice that the blitz seems to be stronger, at least you know, when I run in it, just cleaner. And sometimes I'll get two guys to come in. So again, base the line, shift the defensive line left, crash him up. We're blitzing out here on the hot corner. We're manning him up, and then the A's out there. So to get the bluff blitz, it's going to be, you know, again, I know this just by knowing it, but on the right stick there, you'll see the bluff blitz. So it's the right stick there for that, and then on the left stick, you'll get your zone. So. But that's your setup you're looking for, and you'll get quick in doing it. I'm even doing it slower than I normally would, just because I'm trying to still kind of explain it. But you know, I would get practicing it a bit, and then again, if they're motioning, always keep an eye who the number 2 guy is, and make sure you're always on the number 2 guy from left to right. But other than that, man, it's something cool to mix in if you want. Like I say, it may not be worth it for some people to run it. I screwed it up that time, but. You know, that's just up to you. At least it's another option to give you. I've used this. I've already beat now, you know, top 10 player, top 100 players, mixing this scheme in also. So it's up to you guys. The run defense is pretty good out of it also, I would say. You know, I'm pretty happy with that for the most part. There's a couple things that give it trouble. For the most part, though, if you've got a good user and your user in that safety flying in, you're going to do well. You're going to do well. You know, like a Sean Taylor, I got Clinton Dix, I'm testing him out. You know, Dawkins, anybody like that, you know, it gives you good running lanes to come in and lay the hits. So, you know, good luck if you check this one out. If you're gonna try this defense, like I say, it's worked for me, but I know this is definitely not for everybody. But thanks for checking it out again. Peace.